Yo, what's up? Check out my sick view, bro. Look at that. Moon is out tonight. Looking pretty nice. Sometimes I forget to appreciate that I have this view. You get used to it after a long time, but then randomly it pops into your head and it's like you're looking at it all new again. Well, anyway, I realize as time goes on, normally I have this stand that I use to take these videos, but as time goes on, I'm totally going to get too lazy to use it, so I'm just going to hold it like this, I guess. Maybe, is there a way I can, no, whatever. Let's do it like this. So, solid day today. As I said yesterday, I could feel it. I could feel it coming that I was getting back into my routine. And indeed, I am. I hit the gym, ate a nice, healthy, clean diet again. That's back on track. It's only like 10:30 right now, so back on track for my sleep schedule as well. Probably go to bed a little later tonight, so not 100%, but still way better than going to bed at like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I was gonna watch some Final Destination. Popped into my head after I watched a Red Letter Media video recently. Um, but yeah, everything's looking good, and I'm feeling really good. So things are back on track there. As for the game, what did I get done today? Oh, one cool thing is I wanted to change my logo for my company slash pseudonym slash whatever you want to call it, the Solidio logo. The idea behind it was that I wanted a signature in the vein of a painter's signature or an author, something like that. Something sophisticated, but also natural and raw looking. Something as like a throwback to an artist, to a philosopher, whatever. So that was the original intention. And the first logo, the one that I have now, was one that I got made off of Fiverr several years ago when I first started this. Um, and it was all right, but it was never really what I wanted. I feel like it's a little too Walt Disney-ish, a little cartoonish, almost like and like some kind of animation studio. I think it could even pass as the logo for like a furniture store or something, or a hair salon. I think it has that kind of style to it. So that was not my intention. I wanted it to be more like a handwritten painter's signature. So I recently used ChatGPT. I gave it the original logo and asked it to give me some variations that are more in the vein of what I was looking for. And it came up with 4 or 5 alternatives. And one of them is actually really good. I really like it. I was impressed with it. I find usually AI, when it comes to image generation stuff, it is so hard to get it to do precisely what you want. And even when it does manage to do it, there's usually something weird about it. But I think in this case, it's simple enough since it's literally just writing that it was able to do a decent job. However, I would also prefer not to have my logo have been made by generative AI. So I hired a guy that I found off of Reddit who's a calligrapher. He seemed to be highly recommended. So he's been sending me a couple ideas back and forth, and I just like the AI generated one so much. Honestly, it looks surprisingly raw, like as if someone really did write it. And so far, the calligrapher has been making ones, which, to be fair, this was based on the initial directions I gave him. So I've been having to give him feedback closer and closer as I realize more so what it was exactly that I like so much about that AI generated version. And the ones he initially made were more, the first set he sent me was also more like a studio proper kind of logo, a little fancier compared to my liking, and then, or a little too fancy for my liking, I should say. And then today he sent me a second set, which was now much closer for the direction I was looking for, but still a little too good, if that makes sense. It's too perfect, too nice. It looks, it's beautiful. It's certainly beautiful by calligraphy standards, but I realized that actually what I want is something a little rough, a little gritty, like something that really looks imperfect, like somebody's signature normally would. So I sent him back some feedback asking for something like that. I even told him maybe like, what if you actually tried? I even said, this might be against your instinct as a professional calligrapher, but what if you just did it like really hastily and fast, and just let it be whatever it is when it comes out, something like that, and see what happens. So looking forward to see what he comes up with, because I would very much prefer not to use a AI generated image for my logo. Um, so yeah, hopefully he'll get me something a little dirty, but still sophisticated. So that's been cool. Um, all my music is up on Spotify now. Spotify and I don't know, a whole bunch of other streaming services that I checked off on DistroKid. Told me it was going to take a week to get up there, but it already popped up today, so that's pretty cool. And I also went ahead and I made like an edit with some Samurai Champloo clips using one of the tracks from my game. I'm pretty happy with it. My editing skills are still, I feel like I could get a lot better at editing, but I'm always hesitant to ever go too deep into it because I just don't have the time to spend on that. I need to find ways to be able to pump out, excuse me, I need to find ways to be able to pump out good stuff quickly. So, and I feel like if I get too much into really learning how to edit stuff well, I'm going to get carried away with it, and the return on it is not going to be good, because you never know, especially with social media. You put tons of effort into a video and then you still get like 100 views or something, right? So it's a very, I think, risky venture. I've even had situations where just recently, actually, I made a TikTok one night. So I post shorts and TikToks on a bunch of different social media websites. And one night on TikTok, typically what I do is I actually edit a bunch of clips together. But a couple weeks ago, I tried making a video where I was literally laying here on my couch. I had some crappy Tubi movie running in the background. And I just opened my phone and took a video of myself laying here, like this even. And I'm just like, yeah, I just recently released a demo for my game. It's on Steam. It's called Six Samurai. If you like Hotline Miami, whatever, go check it out. It's like 15 seconds long. It's so bad quality. You can barely see me because my lights are off. You can hear the movie playing in the background, so it's like covering up my voice halfway. It's so bad. And then all I did was I put the green screen effect and I put a screenshot of my store page in the background. I did this all from my phone in literally like 1 minute, posted it, and it did about as well, and in many cases, a lot better than many of the videos I've posted where I took like 30 to 60 minutes to edit that stuff and put it together in an intelligent way, or wrote a script for it and all this kind of stuff. And it's so crazy like that. Sometimes you put effort into things and it does terribly and nobody cares. And other times you can just be like sitting and be like, yo, check out my game. Like a ton of people suddenly like it. It's ridiculous. So I mentioned yesterday that I came up with a long list of ideas for, I think, what would be really smart social media posts to make for my game. And I was going to try to do it this time really artistically, like actually try to dig into the editing side of things and try to make something like combinations of shots from the game mixed together with just like clever movie like type stuff that I'll film in my apartment with my iPhone. Um, but then having learned that lesson with that crappy TikTok video, I thought, okay, just as a test, I'm going to take one of these ideas and then I'm going to try one version that's like zero effort, like literally like this. Like I'm just going to grab my phone and it'll be me talking, and I won't even edit it or anything. Maybe just like one little clip. and then I'll make another version that's going to be this super edited, really well thought out. I'm going to like storyboard it, script it, everything, and then see which of these two does better. And I swear to God, if the like zero effort one does better, I'm going to be very annoyed. So anyway, I'm going to have some fun with that. I'm going to do that tomorrow. And yeah, so I made that Samurai Champloo clip. It's pretty cool. It's I had fun making it. It took me about an hour or so. Again, I don't think it's a great way of marketing the game to a wider audience, but I thought it was at least nice enough that I threw it up on the Samurai Champloo subreddit because why not? And and then I spoke to the guy that I mentioned who I know from the lo-fi, like one of the moderators from the lo-fi hip hop subreddit. So I haven't posted it there yet, but I sent it to him and asked him what he thought of it. And he said he wanted to try putting some edits of his own into it to make it a little more spicier, put some fancier effects. So yeah, it's very cool of him. I appreciate that. We'll see how that goes. And that was a perfect example of the kind of thing where I was sitting there with the final version that I had, and I was also thinking the same. Like, yeah, this could use some more effects. There's stuff I could do to edit this better, but again, I just thought like I don't think it's a good return. I don't think I'm going to get much out of it. I feel like if I'm going to put that kind of deeper effort into editing promotional videos, it has to be really serious. Like it can't just be some uh whatever, like some quick edit of some clips from a show or anything like that. I feel like I need to really sit down and do a proper storyboard and a script and really think it out and try to be as creative as possible if something like that is going to be really effective. So hopefully I can pull it off. We'll see. Um yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I'm not sure I really have all that much to talk about either because I didn't go on social media very much. And I feel like a lot of the time when I can go off on a rant about something, it's because I saw some bullshit on social media that pissed me off or something. Whereas today I got nothing. I was thinking about a few things. Can't remember what it was now. I did have some thoughts again about. Yeah, I mentioned in yesterday's video how sometimes if I get negative comments on a video, I get this temptation to like just reply and tell people to go fuck themselves. And I think a lot about like I'm always struggling between these two. It's like you have these two sides to yourself. You have the side that I guess is who you aspire to be, and then this other side that's who you really are, or who you currently are, let's say. And I wonder a lot sometimes about what would it be like if I just completely let go of any sense of self-consciousness and allowed myself to do whatever comes to mind. And it feels so tempting. And sometimes it feels like that's actually the thing I need. That's that last 10% I need to really take me over the edge and will is what will people will find more interesting and to really let my personality get out there. But the rational side of me also knows that it's not like I'm that unhinged, but but there is a side of me that also knows though that that could backfire. It could be that I end up getting in trouble, and I mean, not really in trouble per se, but I don't know how to put it. Like whatever, I piss someone off, I restrict an opportunity that I have career wise, let's say. But then again, I don't know. Maybe there's always going to be people out there though who will be drawn to that, who will like that, and it's I don't know. It's that weird finding that weird balance between. That's a very common thing in motivational self help type of stuff you can find on all sorts of social media, where it's like, yeah, you should just be completely yourself, and then you'll that'll filter out all the people who don't get you, and it'll draw all the people who really do get you, and that's what you want. You don't want to try to please anyone or please everyone at the same time. And I get that, and that makes sense, I think. But there is a limit to that, isn't there? Like there is a certain point at which if there are certain sides of you that are genuinely uh yeah, I don't know, like offensive or something, that it could be unwise to maybe go completely all the way, right? And yet at the same time, like I said, I'm so tempted by it. I'm so just like, what if I actually did tell people to just go fuck themselves? And that became my thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm that developer who like doesn't care at all. And it's not like freaking out or crashing out, as I believe the kids say nowadays, of just like losing my shit. It would just be like, no, like this is how I would actually respond to people in real life. This is how I actually talk and how I think. Right? I don't know. Versus that more who you want to be, who you aspire to be version of myself, which would be someone who just completely ignores those comments, doesn't care at all, because I'm above them. I don't even think about them. But that's the thing, though, is I do. And that's why I question that way of looking at things, because it feels like such an ingrained natural part of me that I respond to certain things in a certain way. And that when I struggle to try to be someone where I just, let's say, don't react to something in the way that I feel about it, like I do, though. You know what I mean? Like I feel it inside of me. I want to react that way. And when I don't, and I restrict myself from doing so, yes, practically I'm, I guess, kind of being like the person I aspire to be. But I don't know if I feel good. Because oftentimes, for example, when someone says some stupid shit to me on the internet and I choose to try to be the bigger person, I don't say anything. For the rest of the day or for like an hour or two, like that shit will be in my head and I'll be pretty mad about it. And I'll be thinking a lot about all this shit I want to say to that person. And so I don't know, like, is that healthier? Is that better? As opposed to just being like, fuck off and then, and then moving on with my day? Where I feel like if I get it off my chest, then I'm not even going to be thinking about it after. It'll just, because it just, you know what I mean? Like, is the problem here a kind of resentment that builds up because I'm forcing myself to react in a way, which is by ignoring it completely, that's actually not natural to me? That's not really how I feel. And so it's kind of the same as repressing your feelings, right? And then you just get resentful and you get even more angry. And is that better? I don't know. Yeah, I have a feeling this is something I'm going to be struggling with for a while I figure things out. I mean, ideally, I would like to just be someone who's one of those kinds of guys who can just like completely chill out, nothing gets to them, whatever. Actually, you know what? I have a funny story about that. I knew a guy like that once back in college, my college roommate. We always had a joke that this guy, you couldn't insult him. It was impossible because his whole strategy was no matter what you say to him, and really this probably is it, but I don't know if this comes naturally to me. His whole thing would be no matter what you say to him, he just goes, yeah, so what? Right? So like we go to him and be like, yo, you're gay, dude. And he'd be like, yeah, so what? I suck dick. What's the big deal? Or you tell him like you banged his mom or something. I'd be like, yeah, did she have a good time? Like whatever. It doesn't matter. You can say anything to this guy, and he'd be like, yeah, so what? Yeah, it's awesome. So he was, just like everything bounces off of him. And I feel like that's kind of the ideal to be, is to, and I don't know, maybe I should learn from that. Maybe I should take up that strategy, because I guess now that I think about it, that would at least be doing something. I think maybe what gets to me is the fact that I try to just completely ignore it and I don't respond at all, and then I get mad because I'm not like, I have something in myself that I want to express, but I don't do anything. But maybe if I just like change the mentality and instead do that and just be like, someone tells me like your shit sucks, or I'd be like, yeah, so maybe that's the way to go. So I don't know. Anyway, I'll be thinking about this, I'm sure, for a while, and I have to figure something out for myself. But yeah, man, it's not easy figuring out who you are, especially if you've been living your life for a long time in such a way where you feel like you've often been catering yourself to other people's personalities just to try to get them to like you. Man, I feel like I had something else on my mind, but I'm not sure. Not sure I remember it now. Hopefully, my face has been somewhat visible here. I guess this light is behind me, but we'll see what this looks like after. Maybe it's kind of a cool effect. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I got nothing else. See you tomorrow.